help of Lionel Richie.
Yeah.
We thought we were going to get rolling about 6:15. It's over 2 hours after that. The pitchers started to warm up in the bullpen. Everything's great. Waka, Frias, and, well, then the head of the grounds crew talked to Don Mattingly and showed off his 40 speed out into the Cardinal bullpen and talked to Derek Lilliquist, the Cardinal pitching coach, and said, set the kid down, Michael Waka. Don't let him get overheated because we're going to pull the tarp on the field. Then they pulled the tarp off the field. Then they put it back on. Then they pulled it off. And now live, here we go. About 2 hours and 15 minutes after we were supposed to start this thing, a 69-degree night. Cloudy. The rain is evidently out of here. It means that we're going to start late, but we are going to get this game in. How about this shot for you, huh? It's good lighting.
How many times did they put the tarp on and take it off?
I would say 3. 3, 4.
Yeah, at least. And that's the last thing you want to happen, where the starting pitchers both get up, get into their warm-ups, and then have to shut them down. Now, neither one went the whole 20-minute warm-up, not a full warm-up, but they did go through the long toss, about 10 minutes of throwing. Joe, I think the key is going to be, if we get to the middle innings of the game, whether it does show up. Third time around, watch the starting pitchers closely.
He's got his game face on.
I was going to say, I'm glad he gave some sort of analysis there, because I knew you had nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing.
It's
He
time
was
to
just
start
singing the
the
Lionel
game.
Richie over here.
Yeah. We'll go through the lineups. We'll talk about Michael Waka. The Cardinals are undefeated in his 9 starts. They're 9-0. He is 7-0. Trying to join Felix Hernandez as baseball's 8-game winners. But he's going to have to go through the Dodgers. There are the numbers for the year for Michael Waka. If you don't know much about the Cardinals, they have lost their ace, Adam Wainwright, for the year, out with a torn Achilles tendon, and that means that John Lackey has been the front man in this rotation. He pitched last night, got the victory 3-0 over the Dodgers, and now tonight it's the young stud, Michael Waka, who will turn 24 in July. He's a kid, but he's good, and he was the MVP of the NLCS 2 years ago when the Cardinals beat the Dodgers in 6 games. He was 2-0 unscored upon. Here is the lineup for the Dodgers. Jock Peterson leads it off. Justin Turner, Adrian Gonzalez, what a year he's having, and leading in the votes at first base for the All-Star game coming up in July in Cincinnati. Then Kendrick, Ethier, Grandal. He's back off the concussion 7-day DL, followed up by Van Slyke, St. Louisan, Jimmy Rollins, and Carlos Frias. And after the long delay of 2 hours and 15 minutes, Don Mattingly told us before the game and told you, don't worry about it. We'll just go game by game and try and get it back. But they are not able to score over their last 37 innings on the road. Shut out 4 straight, and after the delay, 93 miles per hour and a swinging strike 1.
Well, and Jock Peterson right there tried to break that scoring streak, scoreless streak, I should say, with that big swing.
Kid has hit 12 home runs. He's got another big swing. He's got another strike in the count 0-2.
The Dodgers have not seen Waka since that breakout postseason. What an assignment they have tonight with the bats gone cold. But let's not forget, there are a lot of home games in between. They actually had a good homestand before that streak.
That is on the outside corner, and the night starts with a strikeout of Jock Peterson.
Well, this could be a theme of the night right here. Watch this ball on the outside half, and he's getting a little bit of a wide zone right there. I mean, this has been what's happening in baseball, though. The catchers are setting up. You hit the glove, you're getting the call. I've never seen guys shake their head going back to dugout more than I've seen this year.
And how about the arguments that we've seen, not just from hitters, but from managers? And last night, Don Mattingly was ejected from the game, and the catcher for the Dodgers, A.J. Ellis, as well.
A lot of chirping was going on all night long.
Here's a swinging strike on Justin Turner, and nothing but strikes so far from Waka.
You know, and it's almost a tribute to Waka, too. They're coming out aggressive. We've seen early swings. His stuff has been that good with the addition of the curveball. He's just tough to hit right now.
There is a breaking ball for a strike, and that's 5 in a row.
Yeah, and that's the curveball. That's the big difference to me. The last time that breakout postseason, the Michael Waka fastball changeup guy now actually throws the cutter as his second pitch and the curveball. I guess if you hang around Adam Wainwright long enough, you have to pick up those 2 pitches.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that the Cardinals, and they've done this for a while, and it brings up a secondary point, which we'll get to in a second, but the starting pitching rotation all goes down and watches the side session of each guy between starts. That is just up and away in the mid-90s, and that means that Waka's down there, and prior to the injury, watching Wainwright tune up between starts, and watching Lackey, and watching Garcia now, and other guys. It's paid off. Here's a 1-2 and another foul by Turner.
Well, it's a thing that they've done for years, going back even Carpenter and Darryl Kyle and those guys being able to do that. We talk a lot about hitters hitting in a certain group with certain guys picking up certain things. When pitchers are sharing grips and ideas and different ways to throw pitches, it's a huge advantage. And I think that's why their pitching has been so consistent through this 10-year run that they're in right now. It's been great. Passing the torch.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Justin Turner, hitting .298. Lays off. The count is full. The secondary point, Tom, is, to me, the guy that's overlooked around here is Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach who is in his 5th year. Obviously, Dave Duncan was his predecessor and widely recognized as one of the best pitching coaches ever with Tony La Russa all those years. But there's Derek, and he has really done a good job with his pitching staff, which seems to change by the day. The 3-2 is down and in, a 1-out walk.
That's a great point, because to me the hardest thing to do is to replace a legend, either as a player or as a manager, as Mike Matheny has done behind Tony La Russa. And he mentioned it, as a pitching coach, to follow a guy that some people think should be the first coach inducted into the Hall of Fame. Dave Duncan was that good.
There's Adrian Gonzalez. Those numbers are big. Number 2 in the National League with that average of .339, and that's number 2 to his former teammate Dee Gordon, who leads baseball, hitting .374 at the start of the day. Traded to the Marlins. So the Marlins went off on the Mets today, and here is the Game Changer profile brought to you by T-Mobile, official sponsor of Game Changers, and it's Gonzalez. Last Dodger to win a batting title, 1963. Tommy Davis hitting .326.
I had Tommy Davis in Seattle as a hitting instructor. Use your stubby arms. Use your arms. Bring your arms inside and swing it inside. You got to keep them stubby arms together. That's what he used to always teach. I kid you not. Keep your little stubby arms together. Try to get everybody, get your arms in as close as you can. Use your stubby arms. I'll never forget it.
Who knew Tommy Davis sounded like Kevin Hart? 1 ball, 2 strikes on Adrian Gonzalez.
A great example of the last 2 pitches of Waka's fastball. I mean, Adrian Gonzalez just destroys fastballs, hitting over 400. He got himself into a fastball count. Now he's behind 1 and 2 because he's missed 2 fastballs from Waka.
Hole on the right side of the infield as Reynolds holds against Turner. Here comes a 1-2. 2 out.
Well, and one of the things that has shut down the Dodger offense is they don't run. And when you don't run, you're getting a lot of off-speed pitches like that right there, because there's no threat to have to throw the guy out. And that's one thing that's kind of stumbled them through. They ran a little bit early on. I know they may have got thrown out quite a bit, but it put pressure on those pitchers a tad bit. But their stolen base percentage has been real poor as well.
And obviously a team that ran a lot last year with Gordon, who leads the National League while hitting .374 with 20 stolen bases already. They miss him. His replacement is at the plate. Howie Kendrick, long time with the Angels. He's carried it over to the Dodgers. Good solid performer, hitting .291. The 1-0. 2-0.
Yeah, it's a tough trade-off between Dee Gordon and Howie Kendrick, and I know Dee's playing phenomenal, and I think it's something that a dynamic the Dodgers do not have. But Howie Kendrick has really stepped up and gave you a second baseman who can hit 4th in your lineup. That's kind of hard to pass up as well. So it's one of those trades that's really intriguing to me.
Here's a 2-0. Late swing and a miss, 2-1.
What do you think, Tom?
Admiring this cutter here, where you can throw it really over the plate and get a swing and miss from a great contact hitter. Saw 1 changeup so far to get Gonzalez. That used to be his second favorite pitch. Now it's the cutter.
A swinging strike to make it 2-2, and Michael Wacha could strike out the side here in the first.
Well, he's got great stuff working right now. You can see the changeups, the swing and misses, guys shaking their heads. He's got a pitch on the corner from Peterson to put him away. It's all working right now for Wacha.
And he strikes out the side. A good start after the 2-hour, 20-minute delay. Up and down in the bullpen, getting ready for this start. I think Michael Wacha was ready. Is Carlos Frias. No score. Followed by Matt Carpenter. Matt Holliday, what a start he's had. He's reached base safely in all 43 games he's played in to start the year. That's a National League record. Johnny Peralta cleans up. Grichuk is in right. Yadier Molina, John Jay, Mark Reynolds at first for the injured Matt Adams, and Michael Wacha pitching and batting ninth. Here's Carlos Frias. He is coming off a brutal start against San Diego. An 11-3 loss. Lost to James Shields, who, by the way, is 6-0 with San Diego. Frias making just his 8th big league start. That's Kendrick, and that's an error to start the night.
Got that ball right at the end of the glove and just wasn't able to stay with it. So the ball hit the heel and rattle around the glove. Oh, you hate that. That's as routine as it gets. And you know you're going to make errors throughout the course of the season. But when you kick those, and it's the first play you get of the game, uh-oh, long night ahead. Not fun.
Second error of the year for Howie Kendrick. It brings in Matt Carpenter, who is over 500 hits for his young career and is rapidly becoming one of the best hitters and toughest outs you'll find in the National League. Strike one.
Yeah, how about the top of this St. Louis lineup with Wong now in the 1 hole and Carpenter really exceptional anywhere in the lineup. He's liking the 2 hole, and I think this is the challenge for Frias. He really doesn't have a pitch to get left-handed hitters out. The changeup still under development. Everything working toward the left-handed hitter.
That's a strike in the count, 0-2.
And as Kendrick knows as well as anybody too, when your pitcher struggles the way we already documented it early, you want to get every out for him. Get him off to a good flow, and that's tough to make an error on a routine ball like that and put him in this situation early in the game. It eats you up.
Wong has stolen 4 bases, been caught 4 times. He's the runner at first. Here comes an 0-2. Ball 1.
Joe, when you were naming off the Cardinal lineup, I could only look at first 5 guys hitting over 300. Then you go to 285, then 255, and on down. I mean, this is the most complete lineup in baseball as far as batting averages. Throughout our league, we have so many guys that are 200, but they hit 10 homers, stuff like that. These guys are consistent. No shifts. They have to play you straight up and honor everything you do.
That's ripped into right field, a base hit. Good start for the Cardinals. An error followed up by a line drive hit to right by Matt Carpenter. 2 on, nobody out with Matt Holliday coming up.
Yeah, one of the best 2-strike hitters in baseball does it again. Here's what I mean. Nothing really works that much away from the left-handed hitters. They're hitting .386 against Frias this year. And he doesn't have a real deadened pitch, a changeup to keep guys off balance. Everything's hard. You can see the electric arm. Doesn't really have a lot to mix up a hitter's speed.
Talking to Matt Carpenter before the game, he sat out an entire series not too long ago against the Pirates because he was so dehydrated and run down. He'd never gone through that before. He came back and he has been, as you said, Tom, loving this number 2 spot in the lineup. He's hit 5 home runs out of that spot. Former leadoff man now. 2 on, nobody out for Holliday. That's a broken bat. That's Gonzalez, and that's out number 1 as the runners advance to second and third.
Again, you know, not what he wanted to do, but it's productive. You know, you move runners to second and third, and that's how you keep the carousel going. Now you bring Johnny Peralta up there. Are they going to play the infield in or back? You know, this wasn't a pitch he wanted to hit. But because he uses the whole field, most guys, that would have been a pull check swing for a double play ball.
Brings in Johnny Peralta, who is hitting .311.
And I like the fact they elected to play the defense back. I've watched some games this year where they're bringing infielders in situations like this, and it just continues to keep the wheel spinning. Right now, you're playing for outs if you're the Dodgers. We'll give you a run, but we need to get another out here.
Yeah, and that's the key, a run. If it's just a guy on third base, I think you can afford to bring the infield in, but to sacrifice a possibility of 2 runs on a ground ball with the infield in, just can't do that.
Peralta's had a nice week, had a good series, productive in the 9th inning with 2 walk-off appearances at the plate. That's strike 1. Game-winning home run on Monday, and then just putting the ball in play for a win on Wednesday that helped the Cardinals along to a sweep. And as we said, the Cardinals check into this game with the best record in baseball at 32-16. Two and 1. Gets 7 home runs out of the shortstop position as the Cardinals have from Peralta. That's a big deal because the Cardinals have Yadier Molina, their catcher, who has not homered in 87 games, and Matt Holliday has hit only 3. Peralta and Colton Wong, that middle infield double play combination, have combined for 13. That's the top combo between shortstops and second baseman around baseball.
It's a good combo. You know, it's funny. I was talking to Jimmy Rollins. I said, how long did it take you and Howie Kendrick to get to know each other? You know, double plays, that type of thing. He said, probably about 2 days. You know, it's one of those guys you watch on TV and say, hey, it'd be fun to play with him. And I think Peralta and Wong are working into that as well. You just talked about how their averages are at the top. They're one of the best turning it, catching it. The ball's hit to them, they're going to catch it.
Second and third, 1 out. Peralta breaks his bat. A run will score. 2 out. Over to third goes Carpenter. Wong across the plate. And the Cardinals strike first here tonight.
Well, clearly the stuff is there, Tom. I mean, we watched back-to-back broken bats.
I mean, this is a guy who averages 97 with his 2-seamer, and you saw the run on that pitch right there. The Cardinals turn the error by Kendrick into a run.
An unearned run as Wong, who reached on the error, comes around to score on the 2 groundouts. And here is Randal Grichuk. .95 from Frias.
Grichuk is one of these guys. He's just cut up, man. You know, we talked about Noah Syndergaard. They call him Thor and all these different names. This dude's a Greek god. I was watching him hit balls in batting practice. It was ridiculous how far he hits the ball.
That's on the outside corner. Mike Matheny said, I don't think he knows how strong he is. And of the 4 guys that switched spots in that trade between the Cardinals and the Angels, with David Freese going to Los Angeles, this guy to me has got the biggest upside of any of them. That's inside the count 2-1.
Can run, can throw, put him in center if you want to, and he's got tremendous power. And I agree with you, Joe. He's going to be a guy who hits for high average, and he's going to hit you 20, 30 home runs in a season.
That's grounded up the middle. Rollins to his left. A good play to end the inning. An unearned run crossing home plate. And Michael Wacha back to the hill. How did he start? 1, 2, 3. 1-0. St. Louis after 1 at Busch Stadium. Sponsored by Ford. We go further so you can. We move into the second inning. Michael Wacha struck out the side in the first. We'll go through his timeline. We might as well go through Andre Ethier's timeline. 33 years old now, and a guy who at one point hit 31 home runs, drove in 106. It was back in 2009. He's off to a great start. And Tom, there were some who thought they might have to cut him. And now, the way he's hitting, it's like he's found that old stroke. A big part of what they're doing, even with Yasiel Puig lurking out there, coming back in the next couple weeks.
Absolutely. And what Don Mattingly loves about this guy, he does everything well. Decision making on the bases, defending right field, or if you want, you can play center field. And what you saw him swing at that first pitch, he's doing a lot more of that as well.
Line drive into right. Grichuk back a few, and that's out number 1. Ethier retired, and Michael Wacha, former first-round pick, and what he did in 2013. How's that? The NLCS MVP, beating these Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw 2 times. Last year, 2+ months on the disabled list with a stress reaction in his pitching shoulder, but now 7-0. The team 9-0. And off to the best start by a Cardinals starter with regard to his record since Matt Morris went 8-0 in 2005. Strike 1 on Grandal. Yasmani is off the concussion 7-day disabled list. 1 ball, 1 strike, and he's been a nice offensive find, the former Padre.
Really has. You know, he's got nice power. He reminds me of Roger Maris. And I know he wears number 9. But watching his swing, I know I may be dating myself, taking you back, but looking at the old Roger Maris videos, I dang sure didn't see him. That's the pitch he got for a strike first time against Peterson. That's why he's wanting it. But there's so many, when he takes that swing on an inside fastball, his finish and the way he looks at the plate, a lot like him.
Even the way he starts all closed off at home plate. 2-2 pitch is a curveball down and in. Full count.
He's found a home. He's a better player, I think, than the Dodgers thought they were getting. He's swinging bad. He's better than I thought he was.
Here's a foul out of play, and the count stays 3-2.
I mean, he really, you know, in San Diego, he gets lost. You know, you finally get a chance to see him in a big market, and he's on TV a lot. You see him play. And he's really been very impressive the first 2 months of the season.
He's not on TV that much, let's be honest. 3-2 pitch is foul back.
Well, I know one of the things the front office with the Dodgers really loves about him is his pitch framing ability. And I think the offense has been a pleasant surprise that it's been at such a high level.
Don Mattingly calls him a gym rat. The way he's dedicated to his craft as Reynolds gets out of the way of the broken bat, gets to the bag as Colton Wong takes care of out number 2.
Just got this ball in on him. See you later. That again just shows how impressive Walker's fastball is. He looked like he was going to be on it, and that last, when it hit the dirt, that ball looked like it just jumped on him. Now, every hitter that I've seen so far, they were all swinging at the first pitch. He's that impressive. It's like, I got to get this first pitch fastball or I'm not going to get a hit.
Scott Van Slyke, who grew up in St. Louis, went to John Burroughs High School, and his whole family in town to watch Scott's younger brother Nathan graduate. Burroughs a couple of nights ago is at the plate, took a pitch high for ball 1.
This guy get a chance to see the graduation?
He did. Everybody had a day off.
That's pretty cool.
It was on Thursday. It worked out well. His mom is in the front row, Lori Van Slyke. Lori's husband Andy was a great player here with the Cardinals and then underrated with the Pirates. And the whole family watched him ground out to short. Bottom of the second rolls in St. Louis, 1-0. Cardinals on top. T-Mobile switched to the Data Strong network. For the bottom of the second, Major League Baseball on Fox, brought to you by Chevrolet, the official vehicle of Major League Baseball. First up, Yadier Molina takes the ball up and away from Carlos Frias, who comes in 3-2. The numbers for Molina, who last homered for the end of last June at Dodger Stadium against Ryu, the left-hander, who's out for the year after getting labrum surgery. Left-hander for LA.
Got a little rain coming down, looks like.
Awesome.
Be like this all night.
Popped up. On the infield and fighting the raindrops is Justin Turner. 1 out.
It is fighting the raindrops. It's coming pretty good. And it figures right about that time you hit the highest pop-up of the night. Let's test you a little. Not only was he looking in the raindrops, it also drifted on him as well. Hey, nice job catching that ball.
There's John Jay's back after time on the disabled list. A quick rehab assignment to Peoria. Left wrist surgery, something that was bothering him the second half of last year. Got that fixed. It was weak. He got into bad habits. And he needed some time off. Strike one on the inside corner. Ball one.
Mike Matheny's got some tough issues putting a lineup together on a nightly basis now with John Jay back. That's a crowded outfield. A guy like Jason Hayward on the bench tonight with a hard-throwing right-hander on the mound. Randall Grichuk has earned another start the way he's been playing.
That is past a diving Justin Turner into left. Van Slyke slips in the outfield. Jay will make it to second, turn and go. Here's the play at third. He is out. And he gets up, or at least attempts to get up, and now does, saying check it, that his foot got on the bag, and this turned into a positive for the Dodgers.
Well, the ball's in front of him, so he gets a chance to look at this ball and made his own decision. This isn't look at third base coach and hope. With replay, he's standing on the bag. You make all these crazy slides and you think, hey, they didn't get me. I think they got him.
He's finally vacating the bag.
But I'm telling you, if he gets that front leg down, he's going to be safe. And that's the confusion. But he didn't hit the bag with the front leg. He hit it with the back knee dragging in. Van Slyke's like, look, man, it's wet out here.
It's a base hit, an error on Van Slyke, and then the out. Van Slyke to Turner at third as Reynolds hitting eighth takes a strike. Another look.
Well, watch the front leg. If he hits it with his left foot, he's got a shot, and he missed it. So they got him. Good tag by Turner. They always have to come to the base if you're a tagger on that situation.
Strike two.
Yeah, back in the old days as an infielder, you could do that swipe tag. Ball beat you. You were out, and you saw Turner. That's the way you play the infield now. Leave the glove down there. Leave the tag on the runner.
The 0-2 pitch. Reynolds spoils it. It's been all or nothing for Reynolds during his career. He's had 7 straight years of 20 or more home runs in a season, but the strikeouts tend to pile up. 32% of the time he strikes out. 227 career home runs, 3 in his first year in St. Louis. And now the first baseman, Matt Adams, a torn muscle in his leg, out likely for the year. Tough play Turner, good play Turner, and the inning is over. We are into the third on a rainy night at Busch Stadium. 1-0 Cardinals. Back after this from your local Fox station. Was on top 1-0.
Joe, I know you know the U.S. Open trophy is in the house, so we're going to go golf theme here for the Dodgers. Break out the driver, take off that fuzzy head cover. A team that really built on home runs. Haven't seen a lot lately, needing to go deep. And for the Cardinals, post the early birdies they did in the first inning, they put up a run. Cardinals are 22-3 when they score first.
Best in the league in that category. You're becoming a network shill. I like it.
I can't wait for that. Chambers Bay.
Here's a ground ball, right side fair ball. Reynolds to the bag. And Jimmy Rollins hitting a career low 210. Rounds out.
Yeah, that's the first time since 2004 he starts a game in the 8th spot in the lineup.
Yeah, and that's a tough spot to hit in the National League, especially because you got the pitcher coming up next. So you're not going to get challenged a whole lot. You're going to hit a lot of off-speed junk, and it's almost like good luck. If you don't, we got the pitcher next.
And that pitcher is hitless on the year, Carlos Frias, at 0 for 9. Lanky right-hander shows bunt, takes a strike. Carlos 6'4", 195. Signed as a non-drafted free agent in January of 07 from the Dominican Republic, and in the hole now 0-2.
How about that hack, H?
He's a tall little drink of water, man. That was like protection.
That is ball one, barely missed, 1-2. Too far inside, 2-2.
I was saying oof because it looked like he didn't even react. The ball was in the glove, and then he moved those little skinny arms out the way a little too late.
Ball 3. If Michael Wacha walks Carlos Frias here, it'll be one of the worst walks in the history of baseball.
Oh, my goodness. History.
Nope. Struck him out. That's number 4.
Hey, I want to take you guys back. You know, so you want to be an outfielder, right? We saw Van Slyke fall. Well, here's what happens. It's not just because we got a little drizzle happening now. When you're an outfielder, look how pretty they take care of the infielders. Here's what they do to the outfielders. We're just going to dump the water where you guys stand. So hang with them. If you have a ball that you have to move around on, like Mr. Van Slyke here, oh, well, you're the outfielder. It doesn't matter. Take care of those guys. So that's what I thought of when I saw him falling down out there. It's not the rain. It's the dumping of the tarp.
With 2 out, nobody on, back to the top, and Jock Peterson, the only base runner, the guy on deck, Turner, who walked in the first.
Can't put that stuff in the infield.
Infield was perfect. The grounds crew here has been working hard all night. They were anticipating these different cells, and what we thought was going to just move out of here after about 45 minutes worth of rain just lingered. So we started 2 hours and 20 minutes after the scheduled start time. Here's a 2-0 popped up left field, tiptoeing his Holiday. Another 1-2-3 inning for Michael Wacha. Bottom of the 3rd rolls in. It'll be Wacha, Wong, and Carpenter for the Cardinals up by 1. People riding under trucks, somersaulting over canyons. Really crazy stuff, all while trying to hit a bullseye. Twilight's Kellen Lutz hosts. It's Wednesday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on Fox. Michael Wacha leads it off 3 out of 15 for the year. Took a ball. And a chance to visit with Don Mattingly, the manager of the Dodgers, and we'll give that to you after the first out. That's ball 2. Donnie in his 5th year managing the Dodgers. Won the division each of the last 2 years, and their postseason came to a close at the hands of the Cardinals right here in this stadium.
What a great series, huh? And the Dodgers were lined up. They had Kershaw throwing the game. It felt pretty good. Cardinals just beat them. Got their number right now.
2-1 pitch is down. 3-1. Clayton Kershaw against the Cardinals in the regular season is 5-5, ERA of 3.46 in the postseason. I'd say if not the game's best pitcher, at least one of the top 3, is 0-4 with an ERA over 6.
Incredible.
Think about all the changes here for the Dodgers since just last year. Adrian Gonzalez, the only starter on the field right now for the Dodgers, who started that NLDS last year.
That's good. I'm looking around going, huh? What? That's good, Tom.
Full count now on Wacha.
That's the question. Are they better? We know they're different.
That's strike 3 over the outside corner, and the first strikeout of the night for Carlos Frias. First question to Don Mattingly was about the big right-hander, and then he brought his good stuff to the park tonight.
Yeah, he's throwing more strikes. Looks like he's getting the ball where he wants. They've hit a couple balls hard, but that's the way Carlos does. He gives up a few hits, but he keeps coming. Hopefully he keeps us right here, and we can put some offense together.
Yeah, your hands are full, it looks like, tonight with Michael Wacha.
Yeah, he looks good, and he always does against us, and pretty much against everybody. But hopefully we keep battling, we scratch, and we put some runs on the board.
Yeah, and finally, we talked to you before the game. You said you're not that worried about the offense. It'll come back around. It's a long, long year.
It really is, and we're going through a little stretch. We're going to probably go through another one at some point. Hopefully we come out of it quickly and have a long stretch of that.
We appreciate the time, Don. Thanks.
Okay.
Here's a fly ball off the bat of Wong, deep into left, and a step in front of the track. Van Slyke has out number 2.
You know, Tom, it's interesting the question you posed. Are they better? You know, there's no Puig right now, no Hanley Ramirez. You lose a lot of offense in those 2 guys. D. Gordon, clearly a lot of offense. And I like A.J. Ellis behind the plate as well. I just think it's one of those that we're going to see by the end of the summer.
Definitely agree. It's still a work in progress where they have to go out and maybe add to starting pitching. Don Mattingly likes the professionalism of this team. He thinks on a day-to-day basis he really likes the vibe he's getting from this group of guys.
2 out, nobody on. Frias brings it to Carpenter, who singled his first time up, takes a ball.
Clearly they have fun, but I think also the focus at 7 o'clock or whenever the game time is seems to be a lot more consistent because they catch the ball. Defense will tell you a lot about the focus of a team. They don't make as many mistakes as we saw last year. A lot of mistakes from that club last year.
They have a couple of younger guys, one who's not considered a kid, one who is, that are in the pipeline. Here's Carpenter with a line drive into center, and we'll talk about Hector Olivera and Corey Seager when we come back as we go into the 4th inning, and one of the game's best hitters, Adrian Gonzalez, due up. Second for the Dodgers in the 4th, down 1. Sponsored by Entourage from Warner Brothers Pictures. See the movie in theaters Wednesday. And by Vanda Pharmaceuticals. Well, it all starts here. The Major League Baseball 2015 first-year player draft. Coverage begins Monday, June 8th on MLB Network and MLB.com. And Harold Reynolds has been busy pouring through video, trying to figure out who the best and the brightest are who'll be drafted.
It's going to be interesting. Arizona's got the first pick. Houston's second. A lot of shortstops. A lot of position players in this draft. Better than it's been in a few years.
Justin Turner in the hole, 0-2. It'll be Turner, then Adrian Gonzalez and Howie Kendrick. Dodgers looking for their first hit. They haven't scored now in 40 straight innings on the road. Still 0-2.
Walker's rolling, huh? Seems like every time they look up, they're 0-2. That's a nice night for a pitcher.
He has struck out 4. And that's ball 1.
I'm just so impressed with his stuff. I mean, the changeup really, that's we got Adrian Gonzalez on, but not featuring it nearly as much now because of the cutter curveball combo. There's a changeup right there. The cutter he's been throwing tonight, to me, on the cutter slider spectrum, is actually closer to a slider. It's got so much break to it. And again, the Dodgers haven't seen him since the 2013 NLCS. He's a much more dangerous pitcher.
And he hasn't lost since the 2014 Game 5 at San Francisco with a home run that he gave up in the 9th inning to Travis Ishikawa.
He's good, man.
Strikeout number 5.
The other thing is he's moving the ball in and out, and I love how he elevates when he gets ahead. And that's a tough pitch to hit. It looks so good to hitters. 95 above the chest and in your eyes. We've seen him get a lot of swings and misses with that.
To cut you off from something, I apologize.
No, I was just going to say, when I look at Turner, I think about the situation at third base that they have now in L.A. You know, with Uribe now being traded, and you have Turner and you have Gonzalez, and you start to lead to the other guy that they have in the pipeline coming up.
It's Hector Oliveira, who is a 30-year-old Cuban-born player. He hits right-handed. Corey Seager is the 21-year-old shortstop who's at AAA and just had a game where he went 6 for 6 in a series where he went 11 for 14. So a left-handed hitting shortstop who is young but is supposedly a can't miss.
Absolutely. I saw him in spring training this year. You know, sometimes the outfielders like to come in and take ground balls in the infield. I thought he was an outfielder at shortstop. Big, rangy guy. A lot of people compare him to Cal Ripken.
He's a big kid. He's got the bloodlines. That's Kyle Seager's brother, you know, the third baseman for the Mariners. But so when you've been around the game that much, pick up quick.
Still 2-2 on Adrian Gonzalez.
I think Adrian Gonzalez makes the best adjustments of anybody in the big leagues. Pitch to at bat on pitchers.
Well, he's a different hitter depending on the situation. Career bases empty, 281. He said, listen, I'm so slow, I need to swing for extra bases, doubles and home runs, because it takes 3 hits to get me in. With runners on base, much more of a put-it-in-play hitter. Hits .330 with runners in scoring position.
Another strikeout for Waka, number 6.
And there was the bigger swing from Adrian Gonzalez. Behind the fastball, here comes the change. Even though it's up, he's got Adrian out in front of it.
I know you want to get the changeup down, but when you're throwing high fastballs like that, and you think it's a fastball and he pulls the string, it's the pull the string that gets you.
Here's Kendrick. His error in the first inning led to the only run so far tonight. He struck out his first time, ball 1. Strike 1.
You know what else I like, guys? We talk about pace of game and all that all the time. When you have Yadier Molina back there and a pitcher that says, just put it down, I'm coming, that's when the game gets fast. We have too much thinking. That's what takes so long with this pace of the game. Yadi's going to put down a sign, and he ain't shaking him. He's looking around, figuring out what I want to do. Throw it, son. Here it is. As simple as that. Well, they take 10 seconds?
This is what it means by a pitcher dictating the game. I mean, Michael Wacha is pitching like he thinks there's another cell coming through here, another rainstorm. Let's get this one in.
A walk keeps the top of the 4th inning alive. Chris Carpenter used to call Yadier Molina his left tackle, the guy that really protected his blind side. And there wasn't anything that Carpenter or any of the other guys on this staff would do without checking first with Molina. And like you said, especially for the young guys, what a luxury.
Yeah.
If you're Marco Gonzalez or Wacha coming along, or some of these younger guys, that they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, how about as a pitcher? 43 starts for Wacha, 43 games. Only 3 stolen bases in 5 attempts because of that man behind the plate.
Well, plus like this right here. Let's get it back together. Not going to let the game get away from you. You know he's not talking about signs or anything else. He's going to come out and clean your shoe off. You're sliding all over the place. I mean, little things like that. He had him bring out the little tongue deal to clean his shoe. And I mean, it's just the work that, let's stay in routine.
Matheny's the one that sent the bat boy out there with the tongue depressor to get him to clean out his spikes, and Wacha grabbed it and threw it behind the mound. Doesn't want it.
See, 2 catchers telling him what to do. That's the problem.
Counts 1-0 on Andre Ethier, who lined out to right his first time, and now grounds out to first. That'll do it for the first 3.5 in St. Louis. Forget the tongue depressor and the mud and the spikes and all that stuff. Wacha's rolling, leading 1-0. FIFA Women's World Cup begins as China takes on host country Canada. Then Monday, don't miss Team USA's first game as they battle Australia on Fox Sports 1, plus games all weekend long on Fox, Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2. And it's all streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Into the bottom of the fourth inning, Carlos Frias is back to work. He will deal with the 3, 4, 5 hitters: Holiday, Peralta, and Grichuk. Ball one inside.
You know, you look at Matt Holliday and you think about that streak he's on, 46 games in a row. Is it still going?
Right now, yeah,
right
43
now,
to start this year.
Amazing. And then you think about Joe DiMaggio. That's just getting on base. Think about DiMaggio getting a base hit in 56 straight.
Here's a 2-0. That's a strike from Carlos Frias. It's a National League record, the 43 straight to start the year for Matt Holliday, just reaching base. He grounded out his first time. And he's up on the count here, 3-1.
Yeah, he does. I think he's a better hitter now. Maybe not having power that he's shown in past years, but here he is in a good hitter's count, career high walk rate. You see Jock Peterson in center field is shading him towards right center.
That's a strike. Come back, Matt. Counts full.
He's only had 7 hits to the pole field this year. Most of his hits up the middle to that gap in right center where you see Peterson shading.
Here's a 3-2. That's ball 4, and that is 44 straight to start the year for Matt Holliday to reach base. Last inning, Mike Matheny, we guessed, sent the tongue depressor out via the bat boy to Michael Wacha. Michael Wacha took it and went, yeah, I really want that. And we visited with Mike Matheny during the break. The first question was, Mike, did you send the tongue depressor out there?
Yeah, that was well received, wasn't it? Trying to help a guy out, that's what you get. But, you know, it looked like he slid on a couple, and the grounds crew's out there getting some things fixed. But I think we're in for this for the remainder of the night. And Michael's not immune to this. It's happened all season last year, too. It seems like every time he pitched, we were having rain.
Yeah, and obviously the stuff looks fantastic. He is an even better pitcher than some people realize who may have seen him when he first came to the big leagues.
You know, he just amazes us, the way that he handles not just failure, but also some success. And he just keeps working to get better. Adam Wainwright's been a great voice for him and trying to develop that curveball and also with the cutter. And you can see he's elevating the fastball at times, playing off that curveball. He's just got a real nice idea of how to pitch.
Having any fun down there?
What was the typical answer? I'll tell you in 3 hours.
Yeah, okay, La Russa. All right, I hear you. See you, Mike.
All right,
Tony La Russa was here for a long time, and that was a question. You just walked into his office at the beginning of the night. How you doing, Tony? I'll let you know at 10:30. Okay.
Yep.
Kind of a rhetorical question. Didn't really care about the answer, but that was always his answer. That's a strike from Frias, who's throwing hard. 1 ball, 1 strike on Grichuk.
I always wanted to trick him. I wanted to come up with something else to ask him where he'd have to tell me some kind of answer other than tell you in 3 hours or I'll tell you at 10:30.
He was just in town this past week, an event that was put on by Albert Pujols, who was not here but had an event. And Tony La Russa still, even though he is in the front office with the Arizona Diamondbacks, still tied into the community here in St. Louis. 2-time world champion manager here with the Cardinals. That's strike 3 on a pitch down and away. Grichuk 0 for 2, and let's go into the 5th inning on this rain-soaked night. Michael Wacha will visit the tongue depressor on the mound and go back to work. Jason Hayward in the game off the bench in right, and you have to believe that Matt Holliday is just not feeling that good. He was scratched from last night's lineup with flu-like symptoms. He was off last night. His streak is alive now, reaching in the first 44 games he's played in to start the year. And he is out of the lineup, getting the rest of this rainy night off in a 1-0 game as we are now in the 5th. Here's a 1-1 to Grandal, strike 2.
Yeah, didn't see Holiday the whole time during batting practice today either, so clearly not feeling very well right now.
Not a bad option to take Jason Hayward off the bench, put him in the game.
It's pretty good.
There are options for Mike Matheny, at least in the outfield. They lost Matt Adams to a torn muscle in his leg, likely out for the rest of the year. That is a job that now belongs to Mark Reynolds with a young kid, Stephen Piscotty, who played third base and first base at Stanford. Cardinals converted him to an outfielder. He may go back there in the minor leagues, a leadoff walk. And we'll take a look at what Michael Wacha's been able to do here at home.
Well, he loves pitching in this ballpark. Ready for a game here. Best winning percentage in any ballpark. Whitey Ford, he beat up on the Senators a lot. Jose Fernandez loves pitching at home. Carl Mays, we're going back in time, guys. That's black and white. And there's Waldo. I mean, Wacha, 9-1 lifetime here. The 4th best winning percentage all time. Any pitcher, any ballpark.
Well, now he's trying to pitch around a leadoff walk.
Did you notice the cap on him, Joe?
Yeah, what was that?
That was not regulation cap there. That was a Waldo cap.
It had an extra bubble on top. There's a strike. A ball and a strike on Scott Van Slyke.
You know, here's the thing we were talking about with the Dodger lineup is that they don't run. They're so station to station that double plays kill your innings.
That's up and away, and you're not just talking about stolen bases. That's one thing, but getting activity going on the bases. Dodgers are tied for last in steals with 12 with the Nationals. And their stolen base rate is terrible at under 45%.
There's a lot of hit and run, swing and miss, just bad judgment. But also, when you only have one or two guys that when they get on, everybody goes, he's gonna run, you know, and that's hard to steal under that scrutiny the whole time.
Here comes a 2-2. Shallow left center, long run. John Jay is there, 1 on, 1 out. And the batter will be Jimmy Rollins. What do you think, Harold Reynolds? I know you and Jimmy are tight. You think Jimmy's going to find it? He's hitting under 210.
Yeah, I think if he finishes at 250, it's been an upgrade for the Dodgers because defensively he's going to be there. The power is what surprised me. He's already got 5 home runs. So I think he gets going.
So been a lot of power for the Dodgers. They have 62 home runs, and for some reason Dodger Stadium is turning into a home run hitter's paradise.
Crazy watching balls fly out of there every night, and it just doesn't seem like it's Dodger Stadium, that's for sure.
That's strike 2.
Jimmy Rollins, you can't throw the ball inside enough to him. Loves the ball close to his body, and you see so far Wacha staying away from him.
Right up on top of the plate, Molina sets up outside, and a foul back to the screen keeps it 0-2.
He can still turn on anybody's fastball inside half of the plate regardless of count.
Well, he hasn't got that hot streak yet. You know you're going to have a good month. He hasn't put anything together really for him. That's why I feel like, yeah, he'll turn it around. I'm not expecting 320 or anything like that, but I really believe he'll hit 250 or higher. If he gets to 250 with the defense he's bringing and the change of what they're doing, then it's going to be a good solid year. This will be a good contribution to this club.
Here's a 1-2. A strikeout, and that's number 7. 2 out.
I love the fact, again, I said it earlier, Joe, the high fastball. Here it is again, and you heard Mike Matheny talk about it. When you add to your repertoire a curveball Now guys are setting their sights on that ball being a little bit higher, and with his release points where he comes from, if he can keep that high fastball up there, not many people are catching up to it.
Do you like the chances for Carlos Frias?
Well, after last time we killed him so bad, I'm going to say, yeah, I like his chances.
Really?
No, it's not looking real good. What do you think, Tom?
This is where if you're sitting in the Cardinals dugout, you're all saying to one another, heads up, ball's coming this way.
That'll do it. Reynolds to his right, and that's the way Wacha gets around to lead off walk. Halfway through it, we started late. We're into the bottom of the fifth. Cardinals bat up 1. Chambers Bay Golf Course. There's our Fox theme music for golf. University Place, Washington, south of Tacoma. The 115th playing in the United States Open Championship starting June 18th on Fox Sports 1, Fox, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. And here to talk about the upcoming U.S. Open and the marriage between the USGA and Fox is our buddy and St. Louis's own, the president of the United States Golf Association, Tom O'Toole, sitting next to Tom Verducci. Welcome to our little set that we've created here. How you doing?
I'm awesome. I had to wait a little longer tonight to do this, but thanks for having us. We couldn't be any more excited about our future partnership, which we've already rolled out at the Olympic Club, but the first U.S. Open 2 weeks from Thursday.
Yeah.
We're really excited, Joe.
Nothing in two weeks from Thursday. My guy got to get to work. Check swing by Molina. The count stays 0-2. We've got this beautiful trophy in front of us. I know that Martin Keimer is the last to win it. You were telling me that the guys that win it, they get it for a year, kind of like the Stanley Cup getting it. They get it for a day, but they trade it around teammates.
That's right. We send one of these home with them, and then presumably they return it in one piece. And but they get to keep the gold medal, the Jack Nicklaus gold medal that we instituted, the longtime gold medal champion of the U.S. Open, which we named after Jack in 2012. So that's their keepsake. And
little fly ball into right. Back to grab it is Ethier, one out. You know, there's been so much said about Chambers Bay. I'm excited about it. I think this golf course is going to show beautifully on television right there next to Puget Sound and the Olympic Mountains in the background. I mean, this is the first time you're taking the U.S. Open Championship to the Northwest.
We got to be energized about that. First time. We've had 114 of these, and we never played one in the Northwest. So that, I think that's good for our brand. It's good for our marriage, as you say, with Fox. But yeah, this golf course is unique. It's different, and I think that's a good thing. We don't have to be cookie cutter all the time. And there's a lot of great aspects of this that we're excited about besides the partnership with Fox. So we're looking forward to the 115th playing.
Verducci, have you seen that golf course up there?
Joe, I got excited just looking at that little snippet of video there. It looks gorgeous. Tell us why, though, it's a different type of course than we're normally used to seeing at Opens.
Well, you know, it's a reclaimed former mining area that was a sand and an area that was mined and now built with a golf course. So that's a good environmental discussion. That they turned this municipally owned or county owned by Pierce County. So it's a golf course that's open to the public, and that's good for our brand and our relevancy that we take the United States Open Championship to public golf courses. And the Pacific Northwest thing, the other piece that I think you see in the footage is that it's an all fescue golf course, putting greens, fairways, teeing grounds, so much like you'd see in a British Open Championship. So that's different from what we've presented in the past.
Yeah, I think any fan that's going to turn this on their television set or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. There's a 2-2 pitch to John Jay, a strikeout on a pitch down and in. Frias pitching well. And that for Carlos, a strikeout number 3. People, if they just tune in, they're going to look at this and they're not going to believe that we're playing this thing in the United States. I mean, it really has the look. It's link style, like you're playing in Scotland.
Absolutely, and it's sitting on the Puget Sound, so it does have that links land connection between what would be water and a community. So it will play like that. The fescue would play like that, and obviously one of the big points that have been discussed in the media to date is how will the players accept this and embrace it, and it'll be different than they're normally used to.
Yeah, not that they complain. I mean, they are tour players, and you know, not that they would ever moan and groan about something, but the issues you would think. It's going to be, to me at least, a bomber's course. I mean, it's long, obviously. It's a U.S. Open.
And wide.
And it's wide. And that's something that's so different than what you guys typically lay out.
Yeah, and I think one of the things Mike Davis has done since he's taken over the setup at the U.S. Open is there is different horses for different courses, but let's take the course that we selected and let's make that setup be unique and intriguing for that golf course. And so that's what we've done here. He hasn't done a lot of changing. You know, you don't bring the fairways entirely in on a very wide golf course. It would change the whole architectural concept. So you'll see what Robert Trent Jones built there, and that's what Mike and Dinah Murphy, our championship chair, will use to test the greatest players in the world.
So what do you think we will see in terms of scoring? Because we know the Open is the ultimate test when it comes to scoring.
Well, it is. You know, we're not connected or married to a number. People think that the USGA is attached to par or shooting over par. We're trying to make the players think their way around the golf course, physically and mentally. And that's what Chambers Bay is. I think you saw, Joe, when you were there. Players are going to have to think about what their ball is going to do when it hits the ground. That's different than they play every week. And so that will be the different challenge. Those who embrace it will play that golf course better and find their way around it. Look, these guys are all good. They all can play this golf course if they don't overreact and accept it as what's presented to them. And it will be a good test, but it'll be different.
The executive director, Mike Davis, said any player thinks they're going to show up on Monday and figure out Chambers Bay is going to be in for a rude awakening. Now that's me saying it. That's paraphrasing, but that was the gist of it. And I would agree. Greg Norman agrees. He thinks there's going to be so much on the relationship between player and caddy. There's more on the caddy in this U.S. Open maybe than there ever has been.
Yeah, I think Mike's point was, which was one to try to help the players to say, look, caveat emptor, this one's a little different because it's not what you're used to. So, you know, every player takes a different amount of time to prepare, right? You're a quick study, Joe. I've watched you since you were young. So some would take longer. So the players will take the time they think requires to be prepared. But Mike was just trying to say, look, this is a little different. It's a little out of the ordinary. It's unique. You should take the appropriate time to prepare.
So, Tom, if I win this beautiful trophy here,
which you could.
It could. It's
Absolutely.
Conceivable. It's possible. I only get to keep it for a year. I want it forever.
Yeah, you know, we can make a duplicate of this for you, Tom.
Okay. Because I got a spot on the mantle for it.
Yeah, exactly. And so most of these men's names who we see there have chosen to have another one made. But we'd like nothing more to see your name on the bottom.
Yes, you would. Let's real quick. The pitcher's up so we can finish our conversation. But you're along with being the president, you're also a huge golf fan, and I think this is a unique time on tour and for American golf. And you see this kid, Jordan Spieth. I'm going to get a chance to visit with him this upcoming week in preparation for the United States Open. Do you see this rivalry developing? Do you see the whole Rory-Spieth thing coming about?
Well, look, Jordan's a wonderful young man. He's won 2 USGA championships as a junior. There's a lot of young, great players in the game. Ricky Fowler and Rory McIlroy. But yeah, let's pass the torch, and maybe we'll have a Nicklaus and a Palmer with these two. That'd be good for the game.
By the way, for anybody wearing this headset, and I'm talking about Harold Reynolds, that was a really good inning by you. Good job.
Hey, thanks for having us, and thanks for the partnership with Fox.
Wait. There you go. 115th playing of the U.S. Open, June 18th. It starts right here and on Fox Sports 1. We can't wait. Still 1-0 after 5. The most rewarding SUV ever, and by Lowe's. Lowe's never stop improving. We have a second, so we'll give you our Budweiser game summary. It's brewed just down the street. The Dodgers 42 consecutive scoreless innings on the road. That is a franchise record they're sick of hearing about, but they hopefully will end it here shortly. If you ask the guys in the dugout, Peralta with an RBI ground out in the first, an unearned run. That's all that scored tonight. Waka has struck out 7 through 5, and we had a 2-hour, 20-minute rain delay before we got underway at about 8:30. Here's Jock Peterson, 0 for 2. He has struck out, fly to left. St. Louis on top, 1-0, and there is 1 out in the 6th.
Well, it's interesting. Jock Peterson, last year he struggled in September, had his bat on his shoulder. Now it's more up perpendicular. I talked to Don Mattingly. I said, what did Mark McGwire do? He said, not much. He worked out with Justin Turner. And if you flip the lens or you look at them side by side as we are right here, it's almost like the identical same approach with the start. Bat perpendicular, the leg kick, timing, and then that was the change that Justin Turner worked with Jock Peterson on. Tom, that's kind of a theme in baseball. We got players helping each other hit.
Yeah, it is. And a day and age when every team now has 2 hitting coaches, there's plenty of help to go around. Jock Peterson, to me, you know about his power, but I think he gets in trouble when he gets pull happy. And Don Mattingly has tried to convince him, stay in the middle of the field. Mark McGwire there, along with John Valentine, the hitting coaches for the Dodgers. 12 home runs for Peterson this year. 11 have been to the center of the field. Only 1 pulled. Much better hitting to the center of the field.
One ball, one strike on Justin Turner, who has walked and struck out. No hits for the Dodgers as we play here in the 6th.
Well, the hit king himself, Pete Rose, used to say a lot of hits up the middle. Guess he got a lot, 4,256. If you didn't know it, he'll help you memorize it.
2 balls and a strike, 1 out, nobody on. Left side, that's a foul ball. What's going to go on, Tom, at the All-Star game in Cincinnati with regard to Pete Rose? Has that been talked about enough? Do we know? We know we're going to see him in Cincinnati.
Yeah, we know we're going to see him. We're not sure in what capacity. I think Rob Manfred, the commissioner, has made that clear. Certainly he's welcome for that huge event. The guy still owns the town, no question about it. I don't know what capacity it will be in, but I got to believe he will steal the show at some point.
Eventually, does he go into the Hall of Fame?
I'm still not sure, Joe. I'd like to see it because you have to separate his suspension from baseball from the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure that violating the rule betting on baseball allows him back in uniform, but why not have him on a ballot somehow, some way?
Fly ball into deep right field. His ball is carrying Hayward back. It is off the wall. First hit for the Dodgers, and it's an extra base hit for Justin Turner, a 1-out double here in the 6th inning.
Well, that shows the power of Turner. Catches up this fastball. This one's down. Remember, Walker's been up high the first 5 innings with that heater. Good decision by Hayward. This is just going to be a routine double. You see him look at it. He made the effort thinking he might be able to catch it. After that, you back off, and that way it doesn't end up a triple with 1 out instead of a double with 1 out. So that changes how they're going to defend. It changes how Adrian Gonzalez approaches things. So that's a big play to play that to a double and not a triple.
Here's that spot you talk about, Tom, about how Gonzalez changes his approach. Base hit likely ties this game. Runner at second, 1 out. And Adrian Gonzalez, who is number 6 in the league with 35 RBIs, takes a ball.
He's thinking single right here. He knows that will get the job done. And as I said before the game with Waka, now 3rd time around, here's where you have to watch him closely, especially now getting over 90 pitches.
Late swing, strike 1.
And again, if you weren't around, a double warm-up before the game because of the rain delay. Both starting pitchers warmed up about halfway through their normal warm-up, shut down for a good period of time, and then came back and ramped up again.
Runner at second with 1 out and a 1-1 pitch. Strike 2.
And this is the toughest innings that you go through, the 5, 6, 7, because in baseball today, the game we're playing, the bullpens are set. When you get to that 7th inning, 8th inning, 9th inning, or depending on your club, some clubs even as early as 6 innings, you pretty much know where you're going. This is the challenging times for the manager right here.
Tying run at second. That is outside. 2-2. Gonzalez has struck out twice. The next from Waka with 1 out. Check swing. Molina can't keep it at the plate, and the tying run's at 3rd. That'll be a wild pitch on a ball that bounced in on a breaking ball from Waka.
That's a big call right there. Watch how quick the umpire points to 3rd to look at the third base ump to give him a call, because if that's strike 3, a little different situation.
Instead, it's ball 3. The infield comes in. Runner at 3rd, 1 out. 3-2 pitch. Good rip.
A little bit too much. He missed the target by quite a bit right there. Look where Yadi's set up, and look where the ball ends up. He wanted it out, and that ball ended up in the middle, and Adrian missed it.
Yeah, he's been staying soft with Adrian throughout this at bat, really for most of the night. See if he goes soft again away.
Pitch number 97 on the night is on its way. That's foul.
He did go to the changeup again.
This is what I was saying about his great adjustments. This isn't just a guy that hits with power. See how he stayed on that ball and made contact? Most of the power hitters in today's game, where you're going to hit 30 home runs, you're that guy. That's a strikeout. He battles.
So another 3-2 pitch. Another foul ball. On deck is Howie Kendrick.
Saw Yachty give the sign there, cupping his hand and motioning skyward there. Fastball up. Good location. Just caught the bat. Back to the changeup, down and away.
Gonzalez down the left field line, foul.
Wow. That's a great at bat. Watch him go stay with this ball. The head down, fighting with it. It's amazing how we had a no-hitter going. He's total domination, and now you're thinking, when did they get to the bullpen?
Well, they just started to get up and get to work in the Cardinal bullpen. 10th pitch of the at-bat coming right here. Curveball. And another foul.
So a changeup, curveball, fastball, up, down.
It's time to invent a pitch right here. Nothing's worked so far. He's got wood at least a little bit on everything so far. They haven't seen the cutter in this sequence.
With the right-handed hitter up next, you know, maybe in your infield will back up for a double play ball. You don't just waste one. They can chase it.
The battle continues as the left-hander Randy Choate, the specialist, gets ready with Ethier in the hole. He would bat after Howie Kendrick, who waits on deck.
That last swing tells you how much he's protecting against the changeup, basically hitting it out of the glove of Molina. Now time to go back to the fastball in.
Ooh. And he hits him. So the battle ends with a hit by pitch, and it's first and third, one out.
What a cat and mouse game between a great pitcher and a great hitter. And the great hitter wins it. Walker decides, you know what, I've seen enough away. Let's try to surprise you with something in. And he just pulls that fastball into Gonzalez. Not an RBI, but an at-bat a great hitter just won.
Well, and that's not bad on Walker's part either. I mean, you got a chance here to make sure you got infield drawn in. You don't give him too good a pitch to hit. Now you got a double play opportunity to get you out of the inning.
Remember, he had struck out Gonzalez twice on changeups tonight. He's going to stay away almost throughout this entire sequence with fastballs and changeups. There's another changeup, just misses. Great at bat here. Gonzalez tries the breaking ball for the first time. Changeup again away. Fast changeup again. He's out in front. Molina decides, let's go upstairs. That doesn't work. Let's go away again. And once again, Gonzalez is going to force Walker to go away from the strength, away by bringing the ball inside for the first time and misses the target. What an at-bat by Adrian Gonzalez. And now he's pushed Walker to the limit now. He's got to try to execute over 100 pitches.
That's good, but see, now you see the infield's backed up. They're looking for a double play.
First and third, one out. Tying run at third. Howie Kendrick, strike one.
Now he's trying to shoot that hole between first and second right there. Watch this at bat. This is having a game plan right there. He's just trying to shoot that ball through that hole over there. It's also harder to turn a double play second base to shortstop back to first than it is short to second and around the horn that way.
That he does. Into right field. The game is tied. The Dodgers finally score one on the road, and they've tied the game as Kendrick, who made the error in the first inning, comes up with a game-tying RBI here in the sixth. Their first run on the road in 43 innings.
We watched Turner hit the ball off the wall right field. Gonzalez, that at bat, Tom, you just went through fighting everything away. Right here, Howie Kendrick, two swings to shoot him the other way. So they've made an adjustment. Obviously, they didn't do much the first couple times around. This time around, they made a conscious effort, take the ball the other way.
Well, to me, it's also that double warm-up. Third time around, here it is, and here's what's happening. Adrian Gonzalez with that at bat, forcing Walker out of the stretch to make stress pitch after stress pitch.
First and second, one out, and I guarantee you Matheny is torn right now. You got the left-handed hitting Ethier up. You've got Grandal on deck. You've got Choate, who was getting ready. Now it's Seth Maness, but he's sticking with Walker. 1-0. One ball, one strike. Lead runner now, and the go-ahead run is Adrian Gonzalez at second with Howie Kendrick at first.
It's interesting. I keep thinking, hey, they're going to try to get a double play ball, but Walker's not a guy that gets a lot of ground balls, at least tonight. He's a power guy. You're going to get a ball in the air, or you're going to get a strikeout. Get him out in front of his changeup, he might get that ground ball.
Top of the order will bat for the Cardinals in the bottom of the inning. Mike Matheny trying to get Walker through. And that will help his cause. John Jay is there waiting for it. And that is out number 2. And Ethier 0 for 3. It's up to Yasmani Grandal. He's had some good swings tonight. He drew a walk in the 5th inning, grounded out in the 2nd. And just off that 7-day concussion DL, he has a chance here with a hit to give the Dodgers their first lead of the night.
Tom, you talked a lot about that concussion. I mean, we're seeing it right now affecting the NBA Finals with Thompson. But you got to take that time.
Out in front of it a bit, strike 1.
Yeah, it's obviously a lot of the sports have gone to these mandated protocols. Grandal not on a full DL, but on the 7-day concussion-related DL. The hazards of being a catcher, huh?
It's amazing. You see this, so many catchers become managers. I'm starting to wonder, with all the concussions they probably went through, how are they able to recommend how to run a game?
Well, they see everything out in front of them. And Matheny, a guy who dealt with concussions at the end of his career, it's really what chased him out of the game more than anything else.
That last pitch really would have to concern Mike Matheny. That was a ball straight out of the hand of Michael Wacha. And he's looking at him very closely right here.
Here's a 2-1. Upstairs, 3-1 with Van Slyke on deck, and Manus getting ready in a hurry.
Yeah, he's run out of gas.
Yeah, and again, it's not so much 111 pitches by itself. It's the number of stress pitches this inning after warming up twice before this rain-delayed game.
Here is a 3-1. That is hit deep into center field. Back at the wall. It's gone. And in what should be the final pitch of the night from Michael Wacha, it's Yasmani Grandal back off the 7-day DL and into left center field to give the Dodgers a 4-1 6th-inning lead.
Tell you what, that was a beautiful stroke. 3-1. You had the guy at the plate you wanted, and you could see Matheny was tempted, but you were hoping he gets out of it. And Roger Maris hits a homer.
Into left center field, and that ball was smoked. They got the rally banana out in the dugout.
It was the bubbles last year.
Whatever works, and that's the end of the night for Michael Wacha. Got into the 6th, and this is what will knock him out in the 6th. Yasmani Grandal, first-year Dodger, is 5th of the year. LA up 4-1. shot Van Slyke with 2 out in the inning, and Van Slyke fouls it away. Meanwhile, Michael Wacha's finished. He goes 5 2/3, 3 hits, but 4 runs, and all 3 of the hits and the runs came in this 6th. Knocked out by a 3-run shot by Yasmani Grandal. And it's 4-1 Dodgers as Van Slyke keeps it 0-2.
Tell you, they did a great job making an adjustment. Turner opposite way. Kendrick opposite way. The home run right there by Grandal opposite way. But Adrian Gonzalez is at bat, Tom. Everything battling he did. Set it up.
Strikeout ends the inning, but for the Dodgers, big damage is done. And it was a big swing by Yasmani Grandal. Bottom of the 6th now. Top of the order for St. Louis. Dodgers up by 3. First pitch to Colton Wong from Carlos Frias is up and away, ball 1. Lost in all this is the job done by Carlos Frias. Frias has allowed 1 unearned run, 2 hits. He's walked 2. He's struck out 3. And after that shot by his catcher, Yasmani Grandal, he and the Dodgers lead at 4-1, bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, I was sitting back here when you guys were doing the golf interview. And, you know, I was thinking about Frias and how well he was throwing when you were doing the golf thing.
He sounded bitter. Here's Mitch Harris, the right-hander, who's getting loose for the Cardinals in their bullpen. Here's a 2-1. That's up and away, 3-1.
He's really thrown the ball well. He's had great movement, and he needed an outing like this. He's really got beat up a couple different times, but Donnie seemed to really have a lot of confidence in him before the game. You kind of see why.
Wong got jammed a little bit. Ethier came in, goes back 1 up. Let's go back to that Yasmani Grandal 3-run shot.
Yeah, this is a bullet. What really caught my attention, the launch angle here on this home run by Grandal. Check that out, 21 degrees. Typically you'll see home runs in the 23 to 30 degree range. That tells me he really squared it up. That was more of a line drive than a fly ball home run by Grandal.
And replay brought to you by MLB's StatCast technology. Here is Matt Carpenter with 1 out, nobody on, and that's a wide strike.
Joe, did you ever drive a car and the needle was pointing towards empty? You get that little nervous feeling that you're not sure how far it's going to go. That's what last inning felt like to me with Michael Wacha. you could almost see it coming. That trouble was right around the corner, and especially the last 2 pitches before that home run really got outside of his delivery. Give credit for the Dodgers for really grinding out that inning against him.
I spent my whole high school days driving like that.
That's when you pulled into the gas station. Give me a couple of bucks.
No doubt.
Walker started this game so well, so dominant, and then it just ended on him. He ran out of juice in the 6th. Kenny Rosenthal is with us tonight. He is braving the elements down there, as he always does, and we'll hear from Kenny after Matt Carpenter does something. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Not Kenny, but Matt. 3-1. That's foul.
Getting that nervous feeling that Kenny, what he's bringing, I feel like I'm on an empty tank of gas. He's going to bring something out.
He's
fill the tank.
He will. He'll fill it up. Eighth big league start in the young career of Carlos Frias. He's had 5 real good ones and 2 real bad ones. Tonight's a real good one. Second hit of the night for Matt Carpenter. 1 on, 1 out. Carpenter with his 22nd multiple hit game, and more on the guy who just hit the 3-run home run for the Dodgers, Yasmani Grandal. Here's Ken Rosenthal.
Well, guys, think about what a bonanza the Matt Kemp trade is proving for the Dodgers. Grandal leads NL catchers in OPS, very strong defensive metrics. The trade opened up a spot for Jock Peterson. The Dodgers also got pitcher Joe Wheeland and Zach Eflin, who went for Jimmy Rollins. And on top of all that, the Dodgers, while kicking in $32 million, saved the rest of the $107 million remaining on Matt Kemp's contract.
Kenny, thanks. Doing that with rain on his jacket right in front of Tim Wallach. That was high pressure, high leverage, as you might say.
Gamer.
Tom.
Gamer. Ken Rosenthal, he's a mutter, too.
1 on, 1 out. First at bat for Hayward, who took over for Matt Holliday, whose streak was extended to 44 straight to start the year, reaching base. He walked in the 4th inning. We're assuming it's the flu that's bothering Matt Holliday, so Hayward gets the at bat, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's a dangerous at bat right here. Again, we're in that situation where the game can get away from you. Hayward's been swinging the bat a lot better. He's been hot this week, swinging the bat pretty good. You keep pounding him inside, this is a dangerous AB.
Here is a 1-1 to Hayward. That's hard hit, base hit into right. It's 2 on, 1 out. Back-to-back singles by Carpenter and Hayward.
Well, a dangerous at bat because what is he? Another left-handed hitter. 4 hits by the Cardinals tonight, all by left-handed hitters. Frias just doesn't really have enough sequence of pitches to neutralize left-handed hitters.
I was thinking he might put one in the seats right there. He looked pretty good on the pitch he took. Swinging the bat well.
It's been a little better in the month of May for Jason Hayward. But it's been a less than stellar beginning for Hayward, while Shelby Miller, the young right-hander the Cardinals traded to the Braves to get him, is putting together an all-star first half. Here's Johnny Peralta. He represents the tying run. Johnny's hit 7. He's 0 for 2 tonight with an RBI. Missed falling and double play ball if they get 1. They got them both. Nicely turned by Rollins and Kendrick. And Kendrick hung in there well with a big body of Hayward bearing down on him.
Boy, and they knew that's experience right there. They knew how hard that ball was hit, and they had time to turn it. Beautiful turn.
7th inning, 4-1 Dodgers. sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. Let's go back to that double play, Harold.
Yeah, you know what I like about it? This is two veteran players. Look at Jimmy knock it down, know how hard the ball's hit, how he knows he's going to get hit, but he knows who's running, who hit the ball. And that's a critical time, big double play in a big situation. And a lot of people will panic and try to rush, and they throw it away. They took their time and had plenty of time to turn it. That was beautiful.
Mitch Harris takes over, a graduate of the Naval Academy, a lieutenant. And the first Naval Academy graduate to make it to the big leagues since 1921. 5 years of active duty. Played catch to keep his arm in shape on the deck of an aircraft carrier. Came back, had to work on his velocity and his strength. And a good story. Somebody who has served his country and now pitching in the big leagues for the Cardinals as Rollins lines it out of play, right side, strike one.
Oh, it's an amazing story. I mean, out of high school, drafted by the Cardinals. They continued to honor that. He went into the Naval Academy, like you're talking about, Joe, all those things, and kept it going and then came out. I mean, you just don't see that very often. And for a guy to serve his country, and I mean serve his country in these times that we've been living in, it's really special. You can't even put it into words how gratifying and honoring that is, what he's been able to do, and now live his baseball dream out, be in the big leagues.
1-2 the count. And he misses upstairs, 2-2.
Imagine not playing for 5 years, play some catch.
Well, to the front office's credit with the Cardinals, he came back and they gave him time to find his velocity. And he found it, had a great spring, and now he starts his night out with a strikeout of Jimmy Rollins. Yesterday, Fox Sports Midwest, they do this every year now, shared a Cardinals game with soldiers and families at Fort Leonard Wood, located 2 hours southwest of here. Thousands of soldiers in basic training joined in the pre and post game shows and watched the game on American Forces Network. It's called This One's for You. Started in 2005 with an AFN broadcast. Here is a base hit for Frias. And he is on with his first hit.
I guess he said enough swinging.
Just drop one down.
Element of surprise, and he can run, man. Look at where the third base was planted. Take a chance, and because of all the rain and everything, it deadens the ball. This is a beautiful bunt. No play. Wow, look at Frias.
So he is on. Just to finish, the staff of Fox Sports Midwest and the Cardinals work hard on that every year, and it's a great broadcast as that happened yesterday. So that tradition continues as Harris brings it home to Jock Peterson. That's under the glove of Reynolds into right. And Frias will hold at second. Had designs on going to third. It's 2 on with 1 out.
He did have some ideas about going to third. Didn't bother to pick up his third base coach, which he should with the ball behind him. Pulls it through the hole here. You see Reynolds holding a pitcher on at first because he does run well and sneaks it through.
Yeah, he might have.
I mean, you really are better off playing behind him in his hip pocket.
Yeah,
just to keep him close enough, but assuming he's not going to run. You see the footwork at second. Somebody moved the base on him on his way there.
Yeah, you can turn the first baseman around a little bit, and but I like Jock Peterson was shooting for that hole, something you work on, and he was able to get a pitch, and you saw clearly he was starting to run. He just hooked it. He's shooting for that hole right there and got it.
Went straight under the glove of Reynolds. Here's Turner with a fly ball into right, easy for Hayward. Tagging is Frias. Hayward comes up throwing. Frias to third. Runners at the corners, 2 out.
Frias better save some for the mound. He's so excited to be on base right now. I get it. Dropped the bunt hit. Look at him. He's ready to Usain Bolt. I dare you.
I'm going to tell you, it's a good point, Harold. I'll tell you right now. I'm going to watch him closely next inning. Whenever a pitcher gets on base and is out there for as long as he apparently will be on the bases and extends this kind of energy, this late in the game especially, that is a keep a close eye on situation right there with Frias next inning on the mound.
He just got his first big league hit, a bunt hit with 1 out in this 7th. He's dancing around at third base as Gonzalez hits one into left, back at the wall. This ball is caught. What a catch by Grichuk. Wow. Almost flush up against the wall, a leap, a grab, and he saved 2 runs.
Well, Mike Matheny was telling us before the game, I'll take my outfield defense with Grichuk, Borges, and Hayward out there together at certain times on top of anybody in the big leagues. That is a tremendous play.
5-tool player, they say. Grichuk just showed one of them. And drink responsibly. And by Jurassic World, the park is open June 12th. See it in theaters, Real D and IMAX 3D. Welcome to Jurassic Park.
I love those movies.
You'll be there. You're a movie weirdo. You're always watching movies.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's Grichuk. He just made the play and left. What a play he made. Saved at least 2 runs by taking an extra base hit away from Adrian Gonzalez.
How often do you see it? Joey makes a great play and he leads up the inning.
It just has to happen that way. And as you said, Tom, we'll keep an eye on Carlos Frias after running all over the bases a moment ago.
He is not used to being out there, guys. Only in his pro career, including the minor leagues, only the 4th time he's been on base.
He acted like it, too. He was all over the place.
He was looking for a second base coach.
It was great.
Here comes a 1-1 instead. Time is called. So Matt Belisle, a right-hander, getting ready for St. Louis. And in the Dodger bullpen, it's Juan Nicasio. Grichuk chops one to third. Turner back to grab it. Good arm, 1 out. Back to the catch.
Well, let's go StatCast on the catch because we want to see the route efficiency. But the thing I'm impressed with, he goes 18 miles an hour and then has to curve the wall. You got the wind blowing. You got rain flying from side to side. Looks up, sees the wall, and gauges everything. This is a tremendous catch. If you don't see it from step by step like we showed you there, you don't really appreciate how great that catch is.
There's Yadier Molina, ball one, and you said it. Just watching Grichuk walk around the clubhouse beforehand. I mean, he is put together.
Yeah, he's a Greek god, man.
One ball, no strikes on Yadier Molina, who's 0 for 2. Hitting .280. There's his strike. What a night tonight for Carlos Frias. Hit 91. Good movement on that fastball from the right-hander with Nicasio getting loose. In case there's a hiccup.
I mean, let's not forget his last start, Joe. Although he'd like to forget it, I'm sure. Tied a Los Angeles Dodgers record by giving up 10 runs.
Here's a 1-1. That's into left field, a 1-out base hit.
And that's why that base hit right there, for me, he's done. I want the young man to walk out of here feeling like you had a great night. Let's get to our pen. We'll let them bring it home. Now, I know they're in the middle of a stretch and all those different things, but you want, after he got beat up like that, this kid's going to be part of your rotation. You want him walking out of here feeling good about himself.
There are the numbers. It's ugly, and for Carlos Frias, he gave up the 10 runs in 4 innings on 12 hits. But the majority of it happened after the second inning, or before the second inning, and after the second he went to his manager Don Mattingly, and Mattingly said, just forget it. We need more out of you lengthwise in this game, and just get zeros from here. He did end up giving up another home run, but still, here's a double play ball. How about the kid Frias with a brilliant start tonight through 7, and that should be it for number 77. He leaves tonight in what a bounce back performance as John Jay bounces into a 6-3 double play. Frias loves it. So do the Dodgers, up 3. Time to vote for your All-Stars with the 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot for the 2015 All-Star Game. Vote at MLB.com/vote. Catch all the excitement right here on Fox, July 14th from Cincinnati, the 86th MLB All-Star Game. Live on Fox. Here is Howie Kendrick Kendrick with a game-tying base hit into right his last time up. Turned a terrific double play tonight as well. Here's another hit. And on base for the third time tonight. Grichuk cuts it off, and it's a leadoff single against Mitch Harris.
The man can hit. Line to line, base to base. See Garcia out there. You know, looking at that voting, Joe, I used to love that as a kid. I don't vote for the All-Star game anymore, but that was one of the coolest things for me. Going to 7-Eleven, get that Slurpee cup, and get to punch out the tickets. You know, I remember those. Al Cowens, Amos Otis, George Brett, they're always on those Slurpee cups, you know.
Well, I would say with few exceptions over the last handful of years, I think the fans, this isn't just kissing up. They do a good job, and they seem to have by the end of it, I mean, there are very rarely any issues with the starting lineup.
I agree with you. It is not just a popularity contest anymore. The fans do a pretty good job doing their homework. Now, of course, Harold, you can vote online, as they used to say with Chicago political elections. You can vote early and often.
Ethier pops it up, foul, backing out of play. That's strike one. But this day in history, May 30th, 1970, fans returned to voting for the All-Star game with punch ballots. Previous 12 seasons done by managers and players.
See, they used to punch ballots. There's some kids out there going, punch ballots? What's he talking about? Yeah, used to punch the ballot.
And they used to collect them, send them in. Here's the 0-1. That's a strike to Ethier, hitless tonight, 0 for 3.
That was weak, though, because you had to almost have to be at a major league ballpark to really get the vote. So now it's a little easier to do that.
The ushers and the usherettes would collect them at the end of the 6th or 7th inning.
Now, I know Joe. Did you used to vote, Tom?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the teams, obviously, that drew well had a big advantage.
This one off the end of the bat might drop, and it will. A base hit, back-to-back singles for Kendrick and Ethier. The Dodgers are finally busting loose here in the mid to late innings. It'll bring in the guy who's got the biggest swing of the night, the 2-out 3-run shot by Yasmani Grandal that knocked out Michael Wacha in the 6th inning and made it a 4-1 Dodger lead.
Roger, that's what you called him, right? I got to tell you, the first couple of players came to my mind watching Grandal and his setup at the plate. Ken Griffey Jr. and a right-handed Matt Williams, because watch the way he tucks his front shoulder in as he gets set. See that? Yeah. Junior used to do that.
Too ugly looking.
Here's a strike over the outside corner. You don't like that?
Yeah, I would say yes with the tuck like that. But Joe had a great one too now.
Todd Hundley.
Yeah, that's a good call.
You like that? I mean, he's everybody. You're everybody.
2 on, nobody out. The 0-1 pitch up and away from Harris, with Belial still getting loose for the Cardinals in their pen.
It's amazing how a uniform number can influence the way you look at a player.
Doesn't it? It really does. 37. Come on, man. No.
In St. Louis, for somebody my age, you think Keith Hernandez.
Yes. Yes, you do.
2, you know Red Schoendienst. That's up and away, and the count 2-1 from Harris.
Saw Red earlier today. He and Swanee hanging out, talking baseball.
He doesn't age.
No.
It's ridiculous. That's what I get on the bottom. That's what my dad gets on the top.
There you go.
Between Red and Stan, 2 of his best friends, the 2-1. What a rip by Grandal.
He tried to add 3 more to the board right here. That is letting it fly.
Come on, let's keep the energy up. We got a late start here, but we're in the 8th. Callaspo on deck. And Slikes spot is due, and that's foul. Still a 2-2 count.
Yeah, it's an interesting roster, and I still think as we get through the summer, particularly here as we enter the end of May, there's going to be so many rosters that continue to change in the big leagues. I mean, not just your minor leaguers. I think that's been a big turn too, Tom, how they reach down to the minors and use those guys to affect the rosters moving forward.
Here's a 2-2. That skips in, and what a stop by Molina, full count.
That was beautiful. I mean, most catchers are going to drop down to the knee and try to block this. He actually backhands and just knocks it down. I mean, that is a thing of beauty.
That looked like a middle infielder's hands right there.
Yes.
It's a great point you make about the rosters, Harold. Even these two teams, as good as they are here in the National League, I think they have some issues down the road with starting pitching. Even the Cardinals have talked about the innings from Michael Wacha, the innings for Carlos Martinez, and how that will come into play over 6 months. And for the Dodgers, well set at number 1 and number 2 with that guy there, Kershaw and Zach Greinke behind him.
Strikeout for out number 1, and a big one for Mitch Harris.
It's a great pitch. After he swings as hard as he did to foul the one ball off, he pulls the string on him right here.
Yeah, what'd you say? He kept up his arm strength, Joe, by throwing on battleships?
Yeah.
It's amazing to see, and he does have a big arm. Low to mid-90s fastball and the cutter there with great tilt on it.
I couldn't believe the size of him. He's a big dude. If they all look like that in the Navy, I feel we're comfortable right now.
You should. There's Cayaspo. He was picked up this week from Atlanta with Juan Uribe going the other way. And even though it had kind of been talked about, it was at one point shot down, but then resurrected. I think a lot of people from outside the organization were caught off guard that Uribe, who's a fan favorite, they have a bobblehead doll night for Uribe coming up July 11th at Dodger Stadium.
That's almost a kiss of death.
Yeah, if you're on the fence, if you're a 25th guy, that's not a good thing. But he also, Tom, seemed very popular in the clubhouse and seemed to be a good influence on Yasiel Puig, but he's now an Atlanta Brave.
Definitely true. There's no doubt about that. Key component to that team, but here's the key, Joe. While he's playing, it's hard to have that same influence when you're a part-time player. And because of the emergence of Justin Turner and Guerrero at third base, wasn't getting the number of reps at third, and therefore that influence in the clubhouse became, I don't want to say it dwindled, but less important because of his status in the lineup.
Well, it's great to have an impact but on the clubhouse, but at the end of the day, it's about producing.
1-2 is upstairs. That shot of Justin Turner, he looked like a guy from Game of Thrones, like a wildling.
Yes.
Wildling walking down the dugout.
Yes, he does. I got another Game of Thrones watcher, huh?
Oh, yeah. Have we not talked about that?
No. My goodness. Last week.
Hello, Jon Snow. 2-2 pitch. Down and in a full count.
There's only 3 weeks left.
Yeah.
It's all set up, though. Get you there. They're going to have us hanging for another year.
That's the way it works.
I thought you were going to go Duck Dynasty on me with that beard.
that would work. Two on, one out. Another 3-2 count on a hitter. Grandal had a 3-2 count and struck out. Runners are going, and a base hit into right. That will score Kendrick and send the other runner over to third. That's Ethier. First and third, one out. A run home and a 5-1 Dodger lead as Cayaspo delivers off the bench.
Well, when they have the personnel set up, they like to run. You know, right here, Kendrick takes off, but you're counting on Cayaspo to hit the ball, and he puts the ball in play and gets a double bonus. He gets a base hit. Now you're first and third, but we're talking about the Dodgers being station to station. If you have the right combo, you can do that.
Pitching change, Belisle coming in. You want to know a good show that doesn't leave you hanging? Fargo on FX. Company guy, great show. Rent it, buy it. Fargo. returns. It's the Rangers and the Royals. Then baseball night in America. The Angels take on the Yankees, or the Pirates and Braves, or the Tigers and White Sox. Coverage begins next Saturday on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox and Fox Sports 1. Eighth inning, a run is in, 5-1, biggest lead of the night for the Dodgers. Chance for more. First and third, one out. Belisle in. Rollins up, and a breaking ball for a strike. Jimmy is 0 for 3. Belisle's been a nice addition to the third best bullpen in the league. The top bullpen in the league statistically, the Dodgers, as they mix and match well and are anchored by Kenley Jansen, their closer, who is back and pitching well. Here's the 0-1. Strike 2. Say it, Harold. Every time he looks up, it's 0-2. Poor Jimmy.
Yeah, and that's how you know you're struggling, man. It's just a tough go. Hard to hit 0-2. This is a good situation setup. He can first and third, get some holes out there. Infield's drawn in a little bit.
Here comes an 0-2. Ball one with Hernandez on deck. He will bat for Frias, and the night just fantastic for Carlos Frias. 7 innings, 1 unearned run. That's it. On just 5 hits.
It's good stuff too, man. You know, he executed tonight. I thought he worked at a good pace. He was in a dogfight with Walker.
That is pulled foul. Garcia still getting loose.
Here's a shot of the infielders there. Tough decisions for the middle infielders because of the depth. Not a double play depth, not all the way in.
It's sharp.
The ball, exactly. That's how the ball is hit will determine where they go with it.
Off the end of the bat. Talked about the Yankees next week. They lead the AL East. Every other team in the division in the AL East is under 500. All the money being thrown around in the AL East. Only one team has been able to stay above 500.
Well, I felt like coming into the year it was going to be if you won 90, that was a big year in that division.
That is going to be hard to turn two. They get one, they got them both. And the frustration continues for Jimmy Rollins. He's 0 for 4. The double play ends the inning, but another run on the board. Dodgers will take the field in the bottom of the 8th. Garcia coming in, up by 4. Surface. And by Pepsi, the official soft drink of MLB. Kike Hernandez takes over in left field. Double switch. Yimi Garcia is on the mound, and the big right-hander will take over. Good numbers. He's been busy. Game number 22 on the year for Garcia. And again for Carlos Frias. He can only be the winner if he gets a decision. 1 run. He was unearned on 5 hits, 7 innings, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. He was terrific. Villanueva is getting ready for the 9th inning. Dodgers leading 5-1. First up, Mark Reynolds with Tony Cruz, the backup catcher, on deck.
Hey,
1.
Joe, Carlos Frias showed me a lot tonight. Coming off that start, giving up 10 runs, he gets down 1-0 in the first inning to a pitcher who hasn't lost all year in Michael Wacha, and no problem, no sweat. Actually got better as the game went along, neutralized the right-handers with only 1 hit. And it's probably after the game talk more about his first major league hit. Right?
But, yeah.
Beautiful bunt single.
Liked him on the bases, acting like a wild man.
1 ball, 1 strike on Mark Reynolds, who tonight 0 for 1 with a walk. Strike 2. This is a rather unique delivery that we are witnessing from Garcia.
Well, you can see how tough he is on right-handers. A little slingshot power stuff occasionally will mix in a changeup, but fastball, slider, really difficult for right-handers to pick it up.
You can see how long he hides that ball. A little turn like Felix Hernandez a little bit, and then he'll hide this ball. It's weird. Right there, you can't really see it, and now's the first time you see it when it gets up to the top of his delivery. A lot of times pitchers will show you the pitch in their grip, and they'll show you the arm motion. You can start to read it, but he hides it a long time.
Reynolds just got a piece. There's Cruz. He will bat for Belisle, who came in to go 2/3 of an inning, getting a double play ball and erasing that first and third 1-out threat.
Now somebody's sitting through this. Some serious fans here in St. Louis.
It's been raining throughout as Reynolds spoils the pitch. Mike Matheny talked about the injury to Matt Adams, and he said what I want to come out of this meeting when he was talking to us about it, when he was talking to members of the media, is that right now Mark Reynolds is the first baseman. He's got a track record. He's done it before. He's been a home run hitter in the big leagues, and while there are contingency plans and they will make changes if they have to, for now Mark Reynolds is the first baseman. Here's the injury to Matt Adams Tuesday night against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
That had to be some kind of painful.
Just a total tear. He's already had surgery. 1 out. One out in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the batter will be Tony Cruz. Fox Sports Supports, proud to team with AYSO, the world's largest soccer club. Go to ayso.org/play to find your region and sign up for your fall team today. Cruz is pinch hitting. Tony takes the ball down and away.
And your point on Reynolds, I think, is a very good one. He's a competent major league player, no doubt about that. Better defensive player, I think, than a lot of people think at first base. My question, Joe, would be exposure. You know, he hasn't really been a full-time player for a while. He actually joked himself about in the next couple of weeks how much time he's going to have to spend in the cold tub to get that body recovering day after day. I think it's something to watch longer term if the Cardinals feel like they need to add especially a left-handed hitting complement at first base.
He was signed on a 1-year, $2 million deal to be a bench player. and to give the Cardinals some thump off the bench. They were a terrible long ball hitting team last year. They're trending a little better this year. But with Reynolds in the starting lineup, this is a bench that needs some thunder from the right side, although they do have the extra outfielder that will be there. But when it's Borges, they don't have much pop off the bench. Here's a 2-1.
No, I think you make a great point. I mean, they can point to whatever they want and say Mark Reynolds is going to be their guy, and hopefully my cousin's able to step up and do so. But I do think they got to make a move. They got to get some depth, whether it's a platoon situation or somebody off the bench, because this is a playoff team. So they're not looking at, okay, let's get through this division, which is going to be tough. But this, if you want to get to where they really want to go at the end of the day, they're going to have that depth on their roster.
Back-to-back strikeouts to start the inning, and this Garcia is nasty against right-handed batters. Here comes Colton Wong. Colton will dig in 0 for 3. Reached on an error to start the night offensively for the Cardinals. That was by Kendrick at second. He scored on a ground out by Peralta, and that is it for the Cardinals offensively. 1 run on 5 hits. With 2 out, strike 1.
This is on the barrel of Colton Wong's bat. He went to that a few weeks ago. We are Mauna Kea. That is the highest peak in Hawaii, his home state. And he's actually bringing some awareness to a construction project there for one of the world's largest telescopes. And you think, what's the big deal about building a telescope on a mountain? Well, this one is a $1.4 billion telescope that's supposed to see so far into the heavens. Nothing like it has been around. It's a really huge construction project, and he's looking out for the natural beauty of his home state, place that's near and dear to his heart.
$1.4 billion, and I got to put that on my bat. They better be paying him some coin.
2 out, nobody on. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's one in the left. You're saying he's trying to prevent the construction of
exactly. He's trying to preserve that natural beauty.
I just want to make that clear.
Thank you, Joe.
He doesn't want the telescope. He wanted a hit, too, but he didn't get that either. Let's go to the 9th inning. Dodgers lead by 4. Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on more than 400 devices. The #1 live streaming sports service. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more every night on every device. Visit MLB.tv for details. Carlos Villanueva takes over for the Cardinals. He is the 5th pitcher of the night. Belial was good, 2/3 of an inning, got a double play ball. Leading it off is Hernandez, and Kike is even on the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Villanueva has been great, and he has given the Cardinals a lot of length out of their bullpen early in the season when the pitching has been less than ideal from the rotation. And I agree with you, Tom. Just doing the math, Wainwright is a 30-plus start a year guy, a 200-plus inning a year guy. Eventually you feel the hit of a loss of a guy like that for the year.
Absolutely. And Carlos Martinez, he's not going to throw 200 innings this year, nor should he. Michael Wacha, with the shoulder stress reaction he had last year, he's not going to throw 200 innings. They're going to have to beg and borrow somewhere along the line here. Of course, Marco Gonzalez should be their best option to pick up some innings and starts during the season. He's had some physical problems in AAA.
Yeah, I mean, you sit back and start the year and you look for 1,000 innings out of your starters. You got to figure that out.
Ken Rosenthal is still down there standing in the rain. We'll get you involved. Where is the first domino? Where do you see it falling in the big get? At least as far as the non-rentals, is Cole Hamels. Is he an option for either one of these two teams, Kenny?
He's an option for both, but it would be tough for the Cardinals because I don't know that they have the elite prospect that the Phillies want. Maybe Grichuk could be that guy, but I don't know if the Cardinals want to trade him, with Hayward being so far a disappointment. And the Dodgers don't want to trade any of their top guys, such as Mr. Peterson right there. But at the same time, Joe, it's very clear with the Cardinals, they're going to need a starting pitcher, just as you guys have been talking about. That is their far greater priority than the first base situation. Matt Adams, let's face it, 656 OPS. They can replace that with Reynolds. They can maybe get someone ultimately who can fill the left-handed void. But the starting pitcher is, again, the far greater priority. It's as simple as that.
Well, we'll see, and obviously they will be on a long list of teams looking for starting pitching. Whether it's Cole Hamels, the guy who is locked up as Turner takes a strike, or it's one of these rental guys. Would imagine the arm issues for Johnny Cueto is not coming at a good time for the Cincinnati Reds.
You'll need to see him back on the mound and healthy to establish the value, but GM John Mozeliak here did pretty well last year, didn't he? He knew Adam Wainwright was sort of running out of gas, turned up John Lackey. Worked out okay.
Lackey has really taken over since Adam Wainwright went down with the torn Achilles, to the point where his ERA is down below 3 now, and he's led a rotation before. He knows how to do it.
See, and I'm not convinced on Cole Hamels that it's just prospects. You're looking at money too, and if you can get Ryan Howard moved in that deal, similar to what you saw the Angels do with Josh Hamilton, they ate some money. We've watched teams do that. If I can eat money and still move that player, if I'm Ruben Amaro, he's sitting there saying I'm moving Ryan. You want Cole Hamels, you're taking Ryan Howard as well. And I've just saved $100+ million. You can give me all the prospects you want for that. I'll go buy whoever I want. This season's over for the Phillies. They can go into free agency with $100 million on their payroll. You change your roster around in one winter. Real quick.
Kenny, what do you think about that?
That's not their goal. Their goal is talent, and they're not worried about money. They've got plenty of money, so they don't necessarily want to attach Ryan Howard to Cole Hamels and diminish the return.
There's a 2-out hit by Justin Turner up the middle, right over the back of Carlos Villanueva, and the top of the 9th inning continues.
Yeah, that's a great point, because typically if you have someone who has a contract that is above market value, you have to compromise on the talent you bring back. In this case, I think this is a guy, Hamels, has a market value contract. Therefore, you get the best talent that you should get for a Cole Hamels and don't have to compromise on the talent coming back.
I don't know, guys. I still think he doesn't have to sit there. When you can go to the winter, and we watched the Red Sox do it a couple years back and change their whole roster and get to the World Series.
Right on cue. Here's one of the guys they dealt, Adrian Gonzalez. And of all the guys, Gonzalez has been the one who has held up his end of the bargain, and he's putting together his best first half in a long time, and maybe the first Dodger first baseman voted in starter in an All-Star game since Steve Garvey in 1980. That's how long it's been. Took a ball in the dirt, now a 1-0. Into left field, it will carry to Grichuk, and the inning is over. Bottom of the ninth inning rolls in. Long night, rainy night, foggy night, 5-1 night. Dodgers on top, trying to win game 2 of this 3-game set. Season with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat, up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat now. Cardinal fans, tune in tomorrow on Fox Sports Midwest for the final game of this series. Coverage starts at 12:30 Central. It'll be Brett Anderson, the left-hander, against Carlos Martinez, the young right-hander for the Cardinals, coming off back-to-back good starts. Adam Libator, the left-hander, is taking over. And he deals with Matt Carpenter, strike one. Carpenter, 2 hits tonight, his 22nd multi-hit game. He is #2 in baseball to Prince Fielder, who had 24 at the start of the day and who was leading the American League in hitting at 364. Coming off neck fusion surgery. And I don't think anybody saw this coming this fast.
That's a serious injury when you start thinking about having to come back and swinging a bat. Anything else, and you start messing with your neck, that's never good. Glad it's working out for him.
Josh Hamilton went deep twice last night. That bends Carpenter back. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, this is an option that Don Mattingly did not have last year. You know, it was J.P. Howell. It seemed like all the time you turn around, he was the only left-hander they had coming out of that pen. This year he's got Rodriguez back. Paco Rodriguez is throwing. This guy right here, he's got 3 lefties out there. It didn't seem like he had this many options last season.
Here's a 1-1. Strike 2.
Throwing at my neck, I'm swinging one out of the yard. You see how hard he swung? You don't see Matt Carpenter swing out of himself like that very often.
What I like about those lefties, H, is they're all different looks. You see the power stuff here from Libator. J.P. Howell, of course, off-speed guy in Paco is slow, and slower with a very funky delivery relying on deception.
Here's a 1-2. Outside 2-2. Hayward on deck. Back-to-back left-handers, then Peralta. Cardinals won last night 3-0 behind John Lackey. Down by 4 tonight in the 9th inning with the rubber game to come tomorrow if the Dodgers hang on. 2-2 pitch. Out of play. Our producer is Pete Macheska. Our director is Bill Webb. Aaron Stoikov is the associate director. What he's doing down there. Really kind of is the guy that holds the truck together, to be honest with you. That's true. Puts out small fires, make sure that Pete and Bill don't yell at each other. Here is a 2-2 pitch. Full count. The reason why I bring those guys up, not because they don't deserve a mention every game and I always forget, but our producer Pete Macheska, back when we were in our rain delay for over 2 hours at the beginning of the night, said that this game would end at 11:22.
Wow. Put him on the clock.
That's a pretty good call right there.
Not if you're a Cardinal fan.
Not at the moment for that. 3-2 pitch is fouled away, but at that time, who knew? Pete's a big horse guy, and I'm wondering who he likes in the upcoming Belmont. Materiality. That's who the Polish Hall of Famer is going with.
He's a material guy. That's why.
Big Madonna fan.
Live in a material world. I know Pete. See him dancing right now.
So he is not one with a romantic pick of a Triple Crown win. First time since 1978. Here's a strikeout to start this 9th inning, bottom half.
Thousands of people just wrote down materiality. Polish Pete called it. I'm going with it.
Pete is still producing, by the way, so obviously
he goes past 11:22.
Not cashing a lot of tickets. Hayward is coming to the plate for the second time tonight. Took over for Matt Holliday back in the 5th. Liberators first with 1 out, nobody on. In for a strike. Tell you one thing that looks better than a year ago for the Dodgers is the bullpen.
Yeah, that pen was rough last year, and that was the Achilles heel for them.
Not so sure about the lineup yet.
Yeah, but Andrew Friedman coming in from Tampa Bay, I thought always did a great job there, turning up good bullpens on the cheap. The Dodgers have gone through some big money guys before you get to the closer. The Brian Wilsons, the Brandon Leagues, Chris Perez's. Having much more success with a variety of different, let's call them bargain relief pitchers before you get to Kenley Jansen.
Here is a 1-1 pitch from Liberatore. Fouled back. How about Andrew Friedman, the president of baseball operations, goes from the Tampa Bay Rays to...
Welcome to Beverly Hills.
Man, I mean, there's no limits, the Dodgers, with what they'll
Jed's
spend.
a millionaire. Ken folks said, Andrew, move away from there.
Don't finish it. Just let it go right there. Leave the folks wanting more. Here is 1-2 to Hayward with 1 out. 2-2.
That's a great baseball petri dish, isn't it? You talk about when analytics meet unlimited budget. A lot of people in baseball looking to see how this turns out, and especially as we get to July, as you said, Joe, they still have some work to do putting this team together.
Right side of the infield set with Kendrick and Gonzalez. Left side of the infield not set in my mind. Got 2-2. Full count.
Well, what's interesting too is The analytics has almost been painted as a small budget, let's try to make something work type of thing. And it will be interesting, Tom, when you have some money. And to Joe's point, addressing the infield, we'll see how this all shapes out. I do believe this is a wait and see. And we're talking about a club that's right at the top of the division and not at the bottom.
3-2 pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Hayward is 2 for 2. And the Cardinals hope this is a sign of big things to come from the young right fielder, just 25 years old. They picked up from Atlanta in the offseason.
Well, I think he's starting to get comfortable and get healthy. Look, the other thing we forget oftentimes, grew up as a Brave, lived in Atlanta, never left. You know, and this is the first time he's gone to a whole different organization. He's gone to a whole different life setting. And whether he would say it or not, there's a transition. And so I think he went through that. And now you're getting used to your new teammates, how things are done totally different here than in Atlanta. I think he's going to be fine by the end of the summer.
11:26. I wonder if Pete's still here. He punched the clock at 11:22.
11:20. He's at 21.
21?
Yep. He's looking for a double play ball right here.
You're the smartest guy in the booth, and you can't read a clock.
Put some numbers on that clock. It's been a long night, Joe.
See, that's
all right. Here we are.
Peralta waits for an 0-1 pitch from Liberatore. There goes Hayward. They give him second base, and why not take it if they're giving it? And now Grandal is out. He's wondering why that was not called a strike. And Liberatore looks in at the home plate umpire.
They're both closing their eyes.
No stolen base for Hayward, but he's at second with 1 out. And Peralta, who has the only RBI of the night for the Cardinals, waits for a 1-1. Foul back.
Johnny's been good here.
Saw a little note on MLB.com today where he is considered the top shortstop in baseball with regard to WAR. Wins above replacement.
Right. I get it, but I really like Brandon Crawford.
Yeah.
And what a year he's having.
Still take Tulo. He plays 10 games.
Here's a 1-2 strikeout for out number 2. And with a runner at second, 2 out, the batter will be Grichuk. The last chance for the Cardinals, or the Dodgers will up their mark to 29-19 and win for just the 8th time on the road this year.
The other thing the Dodgers are trying to do is keep Kenley Jansen out there in that bullpen another day and give him another day of rest, not have to work. Who would have thought in the Michael Wacha game they were going to see 5 Cardinals pitch tonight?
Well, he was so good through 5 and just ran out of gas in the 6th. Grichuk, strike 1.
Well, it's rare when you see a game turn around on a hit by pitch, but in my book, that's what happened. All due to Adrian Gonzalez. 12 pitch at bat in which he had 8 foul balls, 6 of them with 2 strikes. Just refused to go away.
I thought your point, Tom, when you said the double warm-up had a lot to do with it. He came out warmed up, it rained, had to delay him a little longer, he warmed up again, and that affected him as we got deeper into the game.
If Wacha gets a loss, it'll be the first loss for Michael in the regular season since September 9th of last year. You got the loss in Game 5, the clincher for the Giants in the NLCS when he pitched in the bottom of the 9th. Runner at second, 2 out, strike 2. And Liberatore could strike out the side here in the 9th inning. Some Dodger fans left. Everybody is soaked down there in the seats. Started this game 2 hours 20 minutes after the scheduled start time because of the rain. Here's the 0-2. Ball one. So a 2 hour 20 minute delay, and right now a 2 hour 51 minute game tacked on top of that. Still 1-2.
I would think this is probably his last guy with Yachty on the on-deck circle and Kenley Jensen lurking around out there in the pen. And that's what that conversation's about. You know, don't let him beat you.
He's had 3 conversations in the last 5 pitches.
Runner at second with 2 out, a ball and 2 strikes on Randal Grichuk. Looking for his first hit of the night. Check swing. He did not go. And the count 2-2.
They're bagging right now.
Would not have been much of an argument had he rung him up.
Nope, sure wouldn't have been.
He went far, did not get strike 3. Called against him. So the count 2-2. Liberatore ready with another. 5-1 Dodgers lead, and 5-1 Dodgers win it. Struck him out of the outside corner. And the left-hander Adam Liberatore struck out the side in the 9th. And a great start and win for Carlos Frias, who's now 4-2. A 2 hour 53 minute game after a 2 hour 20 minute delay. And there's the final. 5-1 the Dodgers win. They've split the first 2 games of this set. We'll come back and wrap things up from St. Louis right after this break.